Good morning, everyone. Welcome to One Voice for Volusia. We'll get started in just a few minutes. Good morning, everyone. I have just a minute after 9 and people are still continuing to join us, but we'll go ahead and get started. Welcome to the One Voice for Volusia Coalition meeting for July. I'm Carrie Baird, the Executive Director of One Voice for Volusia. We're very excited about our agenda today, which hopefully you can see on the screen. Wanted to take a quick minute to remind you that our One Voice for Volusia subscriptions run state fiscal year. So we're hoping that everyone will take a few minutes to renew their subscription with One Voice for Volusia for the coming year. And you can find all of that information on our website. We'll also be prompting current members to do that. You'll expect an email from Tracy about that. Today we have an excellent presentation from CareerSource. They're going to talk about the wide array of services they offer both job seekers and businesses in our community, including our nonprofit sector. So thank you all for being here today to hear a little bit more about CareerSource. I'm going to turn it over to our first speaker this morning, which is Selena from CareerSource, and I'm going to let you share your screen and introduce yourself. Oh, Selena, you're muted. To find you. Selena, you should be able to unmute yourself.
Okay, it was saying the host wouldn't let me in first, so but I couldn't say that, obviously.
Sorry.
Good morning. Right. It's okay. We're all used to this by now, right? Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for the introduction, Carrie. My name is Selena Ahmedzadeh. I am the Business and Career Services Manager here at CareerSource Flagler Volusia. Today, I'm just going to give you guys an overview of the business services programs that we have to cover. And then Kristen will take it over and go over some of our job seeker services. And then Jenny will wrap us up with some community partnerships that we have. When it comes to workforce and CareerSource Flagler Volusia, we're what's considered the local workforce board of Flagler and Volusia counties. So we exist all over the state of Florida under the CareerSource umbrella, and there's 24 regions in the state overall. So we service Flagler and Volusia counties. There's Central Florida, North Florida. So our services are available throughout the entire state. The programs do vary in terms of the parameters depending on what region you're in because it services the local area. For this region, we do have 3 locations. So we have an office in Daytona Beach. We are right behind the Volusia Mall next door to Honey Baked Ham. Typically, everyone knows where that is. So Can you hear me now? I'm getting notifications, but I'm accepting them as they come. So we have an office in Daytona Beach right next door to Honey Baked Ham. We also have an office in Palm Coast. We are right next to the airport and across from the high school. And we have our third and most comprehensive center in Orange City on the corner of Saxon and Enterprise, I believe. Is that correct? Yes. Okay. I haven't been there in a while, so I wanted to make sure. Currently, our offices are open, but they are on an appointment only basis. So if someone's interested in making an appointment, they can just contact any of the numbers on our website to make an appointment to get assistance with their reemployment assistance. So now we're going to turn it over to business services. When it comes to business services, our department is designed to help businesses with all aspects of recruiting, hiring, and training. What does that mean, right? That's a bunch of things. Recruiting alone, it's its own animal, and we can help you with every step of that. We can help with things like helping you with developing a job description through the use of ONET Online, onetonline.org. We can also do things such as a wage study. Why is that important? Let's just say you have a lot of longevity in a position, or you're adding a new position to your organization, and you're just kind of like, where do I start? We're the only ones who do what we do. How do I kind of know where to gauge my requirements for my job and the wages that are going to be needed for that position? We can help you with all aspects of that. We have access to labor market information within the area and even in the state of Florida overall that we can share with you for similar occupations. That is a really great tool when it comes to kind of developing or re-energizing your current positions. And most of the employers that see that data actually, kind of take a step back and they're like, whoa, we didn't realize, that we were so close to the margins or so far off from the margins. So it can really be great in helping you shed light on the benefits of looking at increasing wages, decreasing them, or just developing your job description further. We can also help getting your position posted on employflorida.com. Employflorida.com is our baby. It's what we do everything through in our centers. And it is also known as the state's largest job bank system. So it has the largest number of employers on it and the largest number of job seekers. When it comes to getting your positions posted, you can just post your positions if you'd like, but the website actually has a ton of different resources built into it to allow you to look for qualified candidates. There's application questions that you can build in. There's different assessments that it can be linked to. There's a ton of different resources on the website that can use to help you look for qualified candidates. Another aspect of recruiting really comes into recruitment events and job fairs. It's a self-proclaim, but I like to think we're the gurus of recruitment events in the area, even when it comes to doing it at our own centers or setting up logistics for external. We do have designing process in place when it comes to hosting an in-person event. Oftentimes, most of the employers we work with, they've never done it before. It's been a long time, or their corporate has handled it, or, even some of the smaller organizations, maybe you just haven't done one before. We can help you in all aspects of designing the space, getting businesses to there, getting resources to attend, and helping with the overall logistics. We have flyer design that we can assist with and getting that advertised through our different platforms as well. We currently have access to a virtual platform as well. As of right now, I'm not sure if it's going to be something that we'll continue to offer, but we have access to a virtual platform for the next 30 days that we can use to also host virtual events. We've hosted quite a few recently, and they have been pretty successful in terms of employer engagement. We are seeing a slight decrease in customer engagement job seekers, but I'm sure, as you all know, it has to do with, the unemployment benefits. But with the waivers being ended, we're hoping to see a big change in that in our upcoming events. If anyone's interested in, talking further about, what a recruitment event can do for you, or a job fair, setting it up, or even doing something virtual just for your own business, definitely let us know. We actually have 2 job fairs coming up that I wanted to share with everybody as well. We have a virtual event coming up on June 22nd. It is from 10 to 12. There's no cost to participate. So if you're interested, just kind of logging on to see what it's about, because they're not going to go away, feel free to do so. But if you guys are recruiting for job seekers or for any vacancies you have, you guys can participate at no cost as well. We also have our first in-person event since the pandemic started, which makes me really happy to say, because I do miss them, at Derbyshire Place in Holly Hill. They are a Christian-based community organization there. We are hosting an event with them on June 29th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. We are currently still recruiting for businesses and for community resources, but we do have incredibly limited space. So if anyone's interested, please let us know. We'd love to get you guys there. I know from the original login at the beginning of the meeting, I know a couple of the employers are going to be there on this call today. So thank you guys again, and please help spread the word so we can get more businesses and resources to those events. Does anyone have any questions so far about the first few things that I've covered? I actually can't seem to find my chat anyway, but I'm sure somebody will notify me if there's one coming through. Thanks, Gary. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is going to be our core programs, and these are our reimbursement programs to help businesses with offsetting the cost of hiring and training new employees. Our most popular program that we offer is going to be, I see an indicator here. The website for the job listings is employflorida.com. And the date of the Derbyshire Place event is June 29th. I will be more than happy to share all the flyers with Carrie afterwards if she'd like to send it out to the attendees from this meeting today. In addition, I will drop an email address in there right now that you guys can send all your questions to. And that email address is in the chat, but it's jobfairhelp@CareerSourceFV.com. That email comes directly to me, so I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you guys may have. All right. So back to our on-the-job training program. This is a grant program designed to reimburse and offset the cost of hiring and training new employees. Actually, Tracy from One Voice of Volusia was an OJT participant of ours back in 2018. I was a business service representative who kind of managed that. So she went through the process with me. So if anyone has any frontline questions, feel free to forward them to Tracy. I'm sure she'll be happy to share her experience with you. The program is a reimbursement program that may make you eligible to receive an up to 50% reimbursement for the first 12 weeks of a new candidate's training. All of our programs have eligibility requirements in terms of income and family size. However, I would say 94% of the individuals that we talk to do end up being qualified. So I wouldn't let that kind of hold you back. When it comes to what kind of positions we support, it's all levels. We have management positions all the way down to frontline staff. The goal is for you guys to be able to hire individuals who maybe are not quite exactly where you need them to be. And these dollars that you'll get reimbursed will allow you to spend a little bit more time on their training and developing them so they can be the future of your workforce versus always finding the best and brightest candidate. As we know right now, it's currently a job seekers market. There's an influx of vacancies out in the community. So candidates are really able to make a choice that's best for them. Also, as a result of the pandemic, what job seekers are looking for has shifted. So that's something we're doing in conjunction with this program is we have a lot of businesses reaching out saying, what can I do differently? Because it is time to kind of change, and that's okay, it can be a good thing. But programs like these reimbursement programs are able to make it just a little bit easier in terms of the costs that are associated. So in order for this position, for you guys to be able to utilize the program, you'll need to make sure the position posted on Employ Florida. And then after that, once you find the right candidate, or if you need us to help you in finding the correct candidate, we can help set that up as well. And you'll basically just contact us and say, hey, I found the right person. I want to enroll in this program. What do I do? What I'll say is we'll walk you through the process, but basically what to remember, it has to be done 3 to 5 days before they can begin. But it's an up to 50% reimbursement for the first 12 weeks of their training. This program and the next one I'm going to be talked about combined, on average, you guys can get up to $30,000 in training funds from us on a fiscal year basis. So from July through June. If any of our board members on this call, of course, board members only get $25,000. I just got to throw that plug in there because I don't see all the attendees. Does anyone have any questions about the on-the-job training program? I see the chat coming up, so I'm just going to wait a few minutes and make sure. Jenny, Kristen, feel free to add anything if I missed it. Jenny used to be a business service representative with us, so I'm sure she remembers a lot of this. Okay. We don't offer health insurance at this time, so they wouldn't be employees of ours. They would be employees of your organization. And what we would do is we'd set up a contract that would show like the cost sharing on the reimbursement. So they would be fully employed by any organization, and we're just there as a third party supplementing the training costs associated. And we're kind of just monitoring from the back end, making sure it's going to be both successful for the job seeker who's there and then for the employer as well, in addition to us. It's a really great program. We probably serve, I would say on average, over 120 people on an annual year basis in that program. And Frank Mercer always says this to me, but he always says we have deep pockets when it comes to this program, which I find really funny since we're a nonprofit, but it does work. So I hope that answered your question, Joyce. Feel free to send in anything else you can think of. I'm going to move on to our customized training program. So on-the-job training was for your new employees, right? Anyone you're bringing on board. Customized training is there to develop your current employees, your current workforce. One of the biggest things to always remember is that when it comes to doing research and stuff, oftentimes when employees are asked, why did you leave your position? They say, we left people, not the job, and because we didn't feel valued and they didn't invest enough in me. This program is designed to help you retain your current workforce and to continue to invest in them so they can be what you need them to be and continue to grow with your organization. The tagline for this program, really the best way I like to explain it is pick your training and we'll help you pay for it. What does that mean in terms of training? It could be accounting software, it could be a human resources training, it could be a case management training, it could be a sensitivity training, it could be a Salesforce training. I did one time, it was for like a Microsoft Windows certified administrator training. So really it can be anything that your organization needs in your business to help either bring in new technology or to help get a current employee to the next level from additional responsibilities. This program is also an up to 50% reimbursement for the total cost of training. I'll give you some examples of ones that we've done in terms of the cost, so you guys can kind of see the dollars you can get out of it. We just did one with an organization called with a business called Metro Electronics, and they have an apprenticeship program. We actually help subsidize some of the costs for a particular Microsoft or TIG welding training with Daytona State College. They designed the training. There was a $25,000 cost with that training, and we actually ended up reimbursing $13,000 of that total class for them. There was only 4 participants. They absolutely had to have the training, but they couldn't incur the full cost. So we were there to supplement it with a reimbursement on that as well. This is a program we do like to emphasize a lot because when you're hearing about turnover and stuff in an organization, oftentimes, if you kind of drill down that data and get to the bottom of it, it's because employees want to feel like they're valued and they're being invested in, and this program is help designed to do that. In addition, what's better to develop your own workforce with what you have in place versus constantly looking for new individuals to come in. That's our customized training program. If anybody has any questions about that. And just between the two programs, I just want to reiterate, it's a $30,000 fund that's available to businesses in the area, unless you're a board member. So between the two programs, it can really have an impact in any organization's bottom line. And nonprofits are able to participate too, so it's open to all businesses of all kinds and all sizes. Jenny, did I miss anything, Kristen? I see you guys on my screen, so you can give me a thumbs up if anything. Thank you. So I don't like to typically close things off with this, but I do think it's just an important item to talk about. So we help businesses when it comes to recruiting, hiring, and training their workforce, right? But what happens if you ever have to reduce your workforce or have a layoff that's anticipated? We're here to help you with that as well. So what does that mean? So basically we can come out and design an a la carte service based on what those affected individuals may need. So if your organization is ever reducing their workforce, whether it's by 1 or by 1,000, just know that CareerSource Flagler Volusia has services to offer for that as well. We really do it on an as-need basis based on what the employer tells us those individuals are looking for. That could mean something as doing resume classes, interviewing classes, going, A to Z on the job search process, things like that. Or it could be something as simple as us coming out and giving information packets to individuals on how to navigate through the challenges of facing a layoff. Or it could be is getting a total overview of how to file for reemployment assistance. So I don't want to start off with it, and I don't like to leave it for the end, but I do think it's important. So just know that that's available as well. The last program I wanted to talk to you guys about before I hand it over to Kristen is going to be a current grant that we have in place. It is called the National Dislocated Worker Grant, and it's actually currently only open to nonprofit organizations. If your organization has COVID-related responsibilities currently in place, you are able to actually employ someone through us where we pay the wages, and they will come and work at your organization and help with any COVID-related duties. Kristen will touch a little bit more about this program because it is shared between our departments, but currently we have work sites with Early Learning Coalition, Community Partnership for Children, or I'm sorry, not Community Partnership for Children, Daytona Dream Center, and we have United Way, I believe. We also have the Boys and Girls Club, and Flagler Cares also has one with us. I just remembered, Carrie, you have one still. We have to renew. So that program is available. You guys actually pick the wages. We'll help you review the job description to make sure it's in line with what the program requires. But whether it's sanitation or certain paperwork that's required, checking temperatures, cleaning the offices, doing required paperwork for any kind of COVID-related activities that you guys have to track within your organizations. Kristen will, of course, elaborate a little bit further. But basically, the way to remember it is we find an individual in collaboration together, we'll help you recruit, but you can actually have someone come work for you, and we incur the costs of paying their wages and the liability and things like that through a third-party HR company. And with that, that is the end of my part. And there is a question. Can you give an example of help for a nonprofit? In terms of the grant I just spoke about, Kathy?
I think the question came before that. So maybe just in general, how you help that sector.
All of the programs that I talked about are available for nonprofits as well. This specific grant that we have is only available to nonprofits, but in terms of, all the programs I discussed with you and any of the other services that we have to offer are available to you guys as well. We don't have any specific nonprofit programs except for the grant that I just mentioned. So our services are available to anybody who wishes to use them. I hope that answered your question. If not, you can email me at the Drop for Help and I can help you further. I do want to just talk about one last thing, and I know Kristen will touch about this that I actually forgot about, and when it comes to the recruiting. An example. Okay, so for our on-the-job training program, I can give you an example on that. So One Voice for Volusia is a nonprofit agency, and they had an opening a few years ago. And Tracy, I apologize, I don't remember what the position was under, but I believe it was admin related. And they had a vacancy that they needed to fill. They contacted us to get their position posted. We posted on Employ Florida. They also posted, I believe, on different platforms to help bring in candidates. They ended up interviewing Tracy from the pool of the candidates they had. And once they identified that they wanted to bring her on, they contacted us about the on-the-job training program. Basically, what happened through that process is I contacted Tracy to see if she's eligible based on income and family size. It's about a 2-minute conversation. She was determined that she was eligible. Her and I then set an appointment where she came in, and it was about a 45-minute to an hour appointment where we do the required paperwork with her. Then we drew a contract in which the executive director at the time signed along with Tracy, and Tracy just began working. We monitored the training period to make sure everything was going smoothly by checking in to make sure both the job seeker and the employer are happy with the person they brought on. And at the end of it, we completed the required paperwork and delivered payment on that contract at whatever amount it was set for. I hope that answered your question, Kathy.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Brian. Wonderful. Yeah, I'll definitely get all the email addresses and contacts to Carrie at the end of the presentation, so you guys can just contact us directly. The last thing that I've forgotten to mention, I know Kristen will talk about, is actually our assessments. We do have access to like over 1,000 assessments that you guys can use, and they can be used in a variety of different ways. So we use them in our programs to gauge customers' engagement and make sure that they're on the right career path based on the program they're inquiring about. But when it comes to using it from an employment standpoint, you can use it as pre-employment screening tools. Those assessments that are available, like I said, there's so many of them, but you can, gauge their Microsoft Office skills. It can be cognitive learning skills, listening skills, writing skills. There's a variety of assessments that you can use. A lot of the nonprofits in the area do actually use them for pre-employment screening, in addition to using them when it comes to doing evaluations, getting someone prepped for maybe potential promotion, or just to see how things are going based on what they said they can do versus what they're actually doing in terms of their skill sets. Okay. That's kind of the end of it. I'll just kind of leave a few minutes in case anybody has any questions before I hand it over to Kristen. I apologize if there's any audio issues. I just read that in the chat. I disconnected from everything and I just have my laptop hoping it would work well, but maybe not. Alrighty, thank you so much, everyone. I'll get that information over to everyone for the job fairs and all of our contact information. And I'm going to hand it over to Kristen Alvarado.
Thank you, Selena. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for including me this morning. My name is Kristen Alvarado, and I am a career service advocate in our scholarship department, as well as in our special projects programs. So this morning, before I just touch base over our job seeker interview, I just want to touch base on what Selena had mentioned about our NDWG COVID-19 grant. We do work with local nonprofits to provide assistance for anybody that has a COVID-related responsibilities right now. My part in the area is once a candidate has been determined eligible, I am the one that helps with the initial paperwork in order so that we can get, the funding for that person in whatever position that they would be going to. We do also keep track of how that position and employment is going with that nonprofit. And we always provide and check in with that candidate and make sure that they know what services are available to them at that time. One of the great parts of this grant would be that overall they end up getting hired by the nonprofit. However, if for some reason, that's not an option, we do provide job search assistance to that candidate and try to get them prepared to look for something permanent if they can't be hired on by the nonprofit they've been assigned to. And that would pretty much wrap up our grant at this time. Just one of the things that I would like to mention is because it is a grant, there are certain requirements. So the candidate would have to be either currently and actively receiving unemployment benefits, or they would have had to be unemployed for 6 consecutive weeks since their last day worked. And before I move on to the job seeker overview, is there any questions on that specific grant? And I am not seeing the chat box as well. So if somebody from my team could just let me know if they see anything coming through, I'd appreciate it. Okay. If you'll see the screen, our career services overview, it's for our local job seekers. So for anyone that may be needing services to become more employable, if they're, at this time either unemployed or looking for a new job, we do offer a variety of services. Just to touch base on what Selena said, a lot of our services are through the Employ Florida website. So we do encourage for them to be registered. So if they need any services, we can go ahead and issue them out at that time instead of having, to refer that said job seeker to register first. So our scholarships and our training program. This is my area of expertise. I handle scholarship all the time, and we work with local training providers and very specific programs. You can find these programs and providers on our training matrix, which is constantly updated. So what I always would recommend is you pulling off this list off of our website. I'm just going to go ahead and switch the screen really quick so that you guys can have a better idea of when to find this should you or anybody that you know be interested in our scholarship program. It could be found on our CareerSourceFlaglerVolusia.com website, and you would just click on job search resources, scroll down, and you'll see our training section. And it would be under the approved training provider programs, which would populate over our list to you, and you can see all of the training providers that we have available, and also the programs as well. Once we have someone that's interested, we do highly recommend that they submit an inquiry to us, whether that be through our website or through the email training@CareerSourceFV.com. Once that inquiry is submitted, it will get assigned to a career service advocate who will then guide the job seeker or interested candidate through the whole steps of our scholarship program. With that being, they'll determine eligibility, make referrals, to the school, kind of guide them on who that they can talk to at said provider, and also inform them of the requirements for them to qualify and apply for the services. There are certain requirements that the interested candidate would have to complete, such as they are required to do 3 assessments. Unfortunately, we can't provide any pre-enrollment costs, whether that be some, like for our nursing students, that would be the TEAS test. We can't assist with any prior training costs acquired, and they must be within the last 12 months of their training program if it's, a longer program. But they will have a career service advocate to guide them and advocate them throughout, the whole process. We really like, when our candidates get approved and we can provide, that scholarship assistance, whether it's for the tuition costs, any kind of lab fees. We also do try to provide support services as well, whether that be for any exam related fees. We're also trying to work to see if we can go ahead and provide transportation assistance, would be in the form of mileage reimbursement. And we're also trying to work out childcare. A lot of our, job seekers do run into that barrier, as if whether they're single parent, childcare, they would need that in place so that they could go over to the school, or if they're both going to school and working. So before I move on, did anybody have any questions on any of these screens before I close out?
I wanted to put in this plug, not because I work at CareerSource Flagler Volusia, but I was actually a scholarship recipient here when I was finishing up my bachelor's program. So I really do recommend it. It helped me so much when it came to completing my program, kept me motivated. My case manager here really kind of helped me see the finish line and how it's going to be great, and helping with employment. And then, I ended up, getting a job here, obviously after graduation, which was full circle, but not as a CareerSource employee, but just as a person in the community. The scholarship program can be really, really helpful for anyone who's trying to either go to school or finish it up. So contact us.
Yes, please do. Our scholarship program isn't just for new students. It's for any students that may be currently enrolled and they're heading towards those last 12 months of their program. A lot of our nursing students, whether it's, at Kaiser or Daytona State College, they end up finding out about us, and we know how a lot of those tuition fees, the NCLEX exams, all that can be such an expense. And unfortunately, FAFSA Pell doesn't always cover that. So we really just want to make sure that the student can successfully complete, their program, which will lead to gainful employment, and then, not have to hopefully pull out all these loans, which end up as a long-term debt, to said customer. So just to reiterate, you can find this list with all of our providers and our programs on our website. And then if anybody is interested, whether they already have a program in mind or they just want more information, they can submit that email to training@CareerSourceFV.com. So I know that Selena touched base on some of the assessments. So I just like to go ahead and just go a little more into details on that. So for the scholarship program, it is a requirement that you have to complete 2 prove-it assessments, as well as the ONAT, which is an interest aptitude. This is all just so that we can, get a clear view that the customer is on a successful path to the occupational program that they're interested in. So we do have the TORC assessment, which is a skills-based profile that the job seeker will create with any prior work history experience, as well as any education that they have. And it'll pretty much do an algorithm to see what other occupational field that they could go into, whether it's with more preparation, maybe they need an additional certificate that we may be able to help with, or something that would not really require a lot of preparation. It's just what they have already on hand acquired, whether that's through their employment history or their certificates or any education degrees that they've already obtained. And I'll just break it down and provide a really in-depth plan for them to get them into a new career path, if that's what they're seeking. We do also offer the Career Scope Assessment and ONET My Next Move, which are both online assessment tools that measure your current interest areas and help the customer figure out the best career path for them. And then also, as Selena had mentioned, we do have thousands of assessments, which can not only help any local employer, but also anybody that's trying to get additional training through scholarships. And that's what would be our Prove It assessments. And they determine the knowledge of whichever occupational path the customer has decided on. Also, I've seen a lot of Microsoft Office on the Prove It. So you can see, if there's any admin related that you may not be sure how much you know, and maybe you need to take an additional training just to brush up on that. Or I've seen Excel, as well as general reasoning and knowledge. So those are always available to anybody. So all they would just have to do is ask one of our staff members, and we'll try to guide you in the right direction. Is there any questions before I move on from our assessments? Okay, one of the other things that we offer is our online training hub, which is free to anybody. They can create their account, so they can always, if they started one of our workshops, one of our our training videos, they can go ahead and refer back to what's been completed. I'll go ahead and pull up that so you guys can see the the website. We have different categories, from getting a better knowledge of how to manage your Employ Florida account. So this is something I would highly recommend for any job seekers that are interested in using Employ Florida to look for new employment. It will just give a breakdown of how to, first of all, create an Employ Florida account. Just how to fill in the background information, how to create a resume on Employ Florida, or even how to upload an existing one, and then how to do your job search on there, because we know sometimes this is a lot of information and we don't want our job seekers getting lost in this process. So these would be quick videos broken down step by step that they could review before actually signing up with Employ Florida. We also offer employability skills. So anything from updating your current resume or building a new one, to prepping for any upcoming job fairs, to also your interviews. It will go ahead and provide great advice on what you should do. And then also when you do get hired for that new position, what are some good and successful workplace habits for you to keep in mind and establish? How to be very successful in your current job search. And then one of the things that during this pandemic, a lot of us had to just doing virtual interviews. So This is all here and accessible to anybody that may need it. Did anybody have any questions before I move from this section? Okay. For any of our local job seekers, if they're having trouble, with their job search, we can go ahead and provide occupational data on, the current wages and skills needed for any job openings that are local. This could be provided, over the phone. For my scholarship customers, I always provide this in a PDF file, as long as also with the ONET website link, because that always provides more updated information on what, the local entry level wages for whatever occupational field that they're going into. We also provide specialized services for our veterans and eligible spouses, and we also provide priority services to them as well. We provide specialized services to persons with disabilities. We do have a disability navigator. So if we have anybody with questions, please go ahead and feel free to reach out, and we can go ahead and get that contact information over to them. I believe our current disability navigator, her name is Darlene, and she works with this population, whether, they may need some prep in looking for employment or figuring out how to navigate if they're currently receiving, benefits, but also looking for part-time employment. We do have a ProNet program for our professionals and long services for our long-term unemployed. Specialized services for our young adults, and then anyone who may have any background issues. We do have our Project Reconnect program that may just provide guidance on how to, fill out those applications where they're asking some of those sensitive questions on whether there's any, background issues, or how to have those maybe, uncomfortable conversations with or during an interview with that prospective employer. And did we have any questions before I kind of wrap up our overview? Okay, and just to reiterate, we do have 3 offices, one in Orange City, one in Daytona Beach, one in Palm Coast. We currently are only doing as needed appointments. However, a lot of our information is found online. Please, if you have any questions, just feel free to reach out, and we will, get you in contact with the appropriate person.
Kristen, there was a question in the chat about scholarships. Are they open to the currently employed individuals?
Yes. So once that inquiry is submitted, we just do get in contact. And like I said, it does get assigned to a career service advocate, and they will do an initial screening to see, to just make sure that there's no, they're not exceeding an income bracket for their household size. Sorry, I don't know. I'm trying to open the chat, but it just keeps
too many
going
windows,
away.
probably. I don't see any other questions.
Okay, and then I'm just going to go ahead and just drop that email address so everyone can have it on hand. And I do really encourage, if you're interested in any way and maybe obtaining, additional training, our scholarship program is available. And as Selena had said it, we have funds available, and we just want to make sure everyone gets, gainful employment, especially during this pandemic when everyone's going through such a hard time. So thank you so much for your time this morning.
Okay. Okay, I think I'm up next, right? Oop. Can you guys hear me? Yeah, okay, cool. First timer almost. Anyway, thanks for having us, Carrie. We really appreciate it. And shout out to Selena and Kristen. Great job. Just wanted to back up on one thing as far as the OJT process, and Selena can give me a thumbs up if this is correct. But people interested in the on-the-job training, employers need to be paying that position at least $12 an hour to qualify for the on-the-job training. So just keep that in mind before you contact Selena or our business services department, that whatever position you're interested in applying to for on-the-job needs to pay at least $12 an hour. We want that position to work for you and to retain that employee. So that's kind of a reason why we have it set at the $12 an hour. Well, I'm going to talk to you about our special initiatives and partnerships. My name's Jenny Stumbris, and I'm the Business and Community Development Manager. My primary job is center manager at our Palm Coast Center. So I'm up here pretty much 5 days a week. You'll see me most of the time in Flagler. But as far as partnerships, we kind of have 3 different categories. One are our mandatory partners, which consist of memorandums of understanding and infrastructure funding agreements. And for lack of a better way to say it, MOUs and IFAs, that's what those are. We also have what's called community locations, and refer those as MCLs or mini career links. And then our third type of partnership, I'm just going to put under other. So as far as mandatory partners, very often you'll hear CareerSource referred to as different names, and it can sometimes get confusing out in the community. But if you ever hear the term Local Workforce Development Board, they're talking about us. Every state has a local workforce development board, and they provide similar programs to us. They will not be identical, but they will be similar. They'll be workforce related. So if you are reading about things and you hear the term local workforce, think of CareerSource. We're also sometimes considered one-stop career centers. That term is sometimes interchangeable. Way back, I don't know if any of you remember, there used to be local unemployment offices where you could actually walk in. There was like jobs on the wall, like a board, a job board. You could go up and look for jobs. You could apply for unemployment. You could apply for food stamps. There were a lot of things going on in one location. Unfortunately, those locations don't exist anymore. There are no local unemployment offices in Florida. So CareerSource now takes on some of that responsibility by assisting people that need to file for unemployment and do their job search. So one stop will still stay in some of our terminology. It's also in some of our legislation. And then CareerSource, we're CareerSource Flagler Volusia. I think Selena referred to there are career sources all across the state of Florida. About, I want to say 5 years ago, the governor at that time said, you guys need to all call yourself the same name. Every local workforce development board in the state of Florida had a different name. We were Center for Business Excellence at one time. And then before that, we were a different name. So it just got so confusing for people that we were rebranded to be called CareerSource. So if you have neighboring colleagues or family members that are looking for services like ours, just have them Google CareerSource and type in the counties that they're looking for, and their closest CareerSource should pop up. So it should be very easy to find us across the state. Now back to our partnerships. Each local workforce development board is required by the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act to enter into memorandums of understanding and infrastructure agreements. The MOU is an agreement that details the operations of the local one-stop delivery system, provision of programs and services, and apportionment of costs. So things that we need to do with our MOUs, we need to describe the services that will be delivered through the one-stop delivery system. And this also includes the way the services will be coordinated and delivered through the one-stop delivery system. And then we also figure out the methods for referring individuals to either the one-stop operator or partners for appropriate services and activities. So all of our required partners, I'm going to share with you who those are, have agreed to provide access to their programs and services in our comprehensive center. I think Selena mentioned we do have what's called a comprehensive center. It's our center in Orange City, and that center is the one that hosts all of the programs that we offer. So that is our biggest center and has the most staff available to assist with all the programs that we offer. Our current mandatory partners, again, this is set by legislation under WIOA that we are required to have partnerships with. And it goes back to that one-stop concept where we try to assist a lot of individuals under one roof. So Division of Blind Services is a partner that we have. We know how to refer customers back and forth to each other. If they came to CareerSource, we could assist them, or if they came to Division of Blind Services, Division of Blind could assist them to get to CareerSource. And Division of Blind Services contributed 5 Fusion software licenses to the CareerSource centers. So each CareerSource center has this software in it, which provides Zoom text for screen magnification and visual enhancements, and also JAWS. So if any of you are familiar with those services, we do have that flexibility now at the centers. One of our other partners is Daytona State College. They assist us with our adult basic education, and they actually provide GED classes at our CareerSource Comprehensive Center in Orange City. And they waive the tuition and provide books for eligible students. The third partner is NCBA/SCSEP, CSEP. So that stands for the National Caucus and Center on Black Aged and Senior Community Service Employment Program. If you have not heard of CSEP, it's a pretty nice program. I know they're always looking for employers to participate as a training advocate, but what this is a resource for seniors 55 and older, which I think is like really young now. Is that really a senior? Like really 55? But anyway, for individuals 55 and over, CSEP is a program where they will pay that individual minimum wage for up to 20, I believe it might be now 21 hours a week at a business, nonprofit, organization, whatever it might be. And the reason for them to do that is to try to help these seniors get additional skill sets that they may not have to get them into more long-term employment. So if any of your organizations have an opportunity to bring people in, the minimum wage is paid by NCBA or CSEP, and then you assist that person and help train them with skills they may not have coming in. So that's a pretty neat program. And in the past, we have had NCBA CSEP participants at CareerSource. They actually worked in what we call our career zone to help people with their work search and sometimes their unemployment. So it was a very nice, especially sometimes when you're short-staffed and your resources aren't spreading like they used to. It's a nice availability to have someone there to assist your current staff. One other partner we have is with Volusia County. It's Volusia County Community Assistance Division, and they help pay for some GED testing for clients. And then our last partner is vocational rehab. They will very often, once COVID hopefully finally ends, they will probably be more housed at CareerSource in our Orange City location, and we refer individuals back and forth. I'm sure you know that voc rehab's end result is employment as well. So we have a great connection with voc rehab. And I'm like Kristen, I don't see my little chat box since I moved over, but that's okay. Keep going. And Carrie, you can break in if I have any questions I'm not seeing. The second kind of partnership are our MCLs, or what we call community locations. And that's in our, if you go to newsroom on our, oh, didn't want to go to that one, sorry. See if I can go back. Drop down on our newsroom to community locations. That'll give you a list of all the current locations we have, or mini career links. And basically what that is the MOU strengthens our delivery system through maximum cooperation between CareerSource and that MCL. And we shares information and services that are necessary to best serve persons who are unemployed and underemployed in achieving self-sufficiency through employment and career advancement. As you know, we have 3 CareerSource centers that are located throughout Volusia Flagler, but there's a lot of individuals that may not be able to get to those centers. They may live in remote areas. They may have transportation issues. They just may have challenges that get in the way to coming to CareerSource. So we work with community partners to have access for services at their place of business. So this could be churches, it could be an organization, it could be a nonprofit. It would need to be an organization that has computers available for general use or to the public. So if you're an organization that offers computer use to individuals that may really be in need of job searching or help with employment needs, you might want to consider being an MCL or a mini career link. So what CareerSource does is we assign you a point of contact. We develop a way to streamline referrals. We provide employability resources on site, and what there primarily is training either your staff or your volunteers on how to navigate Employ Florida. Selena and Kristen both mentioned that. It's a very strong job search tool that we can help teach you, and then you can help your community with the individuals that need to come to you for help for employment. We also provide access to our training hub that Kristen just reviewed, so you could be able to have access to the training hub. We publish you on our website in addition to your hours. So you can see that we have everybody listed up here and what their hours are. It's really up to the organization on what their hours are. We don't dictate what they are. You know what your resources are and what your challenges are. If it's only 2 days a week, that's what it is. It's not a problem. We work with you. And then we provide, like I said, Employ Florida training for either your volunteers or your staff if you want to consider being an MCL. So Palmetto Park Neighborhood Network Center in Daytona. We have Bethel Empowerment Center in DeLand. Dr. Joyce M. Cusack Resource Center used to be called the Spring Hill Community Resource Center. It's been renamed in her name in DeLand. Northwood Village Neighborhood Network Center in Daytona. Emmanuel Church of the Living God in Ormond, the Agricultural and Labor Program in DeLand, and then Derbyshire Place, which is where the upcoming job fair is being held in Daytona Beach. So those are our community MCLs. If any of you are interested in possibly being an MCL, it's a very easy process to do it. And we'll put my number on there too, but I'm at 386-586 5175 if anybody's interested in learning more about the MCL process. And then the only other partnership I'm going to touch base on is basically I'm just putting under other partnerships. We're currently working with the Volusia Recovery Alliance on a partnership, and I think I saw Karen Traprek on the line as well. Karen's helping us out with that. We're providing training dollars for individuals to enter professions that could address the opioid, substance misuse, or provide relevant skills training that could help personally impacted individuals find and retain employment in in-demand occupations. And Volusia Recovery Alliance is providing education and awareness on the opioid substance misuse epidemic affecting local communities. So this is a very new partnership for us. Individuals that might qualify are those that have a substance use disorder, a family members whose life has been impacted by a family member with a substance use disorder, or someone who may want training in a field where they could assist those that have a substance use disorder. So, and like Selena mentioned before, many of our programs, they must meet, eligibility requirements. So that stays with this as well. Again, thanks to Karen, I think who's on the call helping us with that. Other partnership, since I'm in Flagler, I'll tell you we have a partnership with our local radio station, WNZF. They allow local employers to announce jobs on the air. And then we encourage job seekers to register on Employ Florida so that we can help possibly refer individuals to OJTs or other services we may provide. So that's been going on. I think we're going on our second year for business being able to advertise on the station. And then we also have a relationship with Flagler County Jail. We have someone that goes into the jail every Thursday with other community organizations and speaks to the inmates about, hey, what are you going to do when you get out? What are you going to do for work? How are you preparing? What are your ideas? What are your skill sets? What thoughts do you have? They need to really start thinking about that prior to release. So we have someone that goes in, chats with them, and then we tell them how to contact us upon their release. And then we get them registered, show them how to job search. They can take assessments. They can figure out, what what kind of career they want. There's a lot of things that we can assist them with. Kristen also mentioned the Project Reconnect program for individuals. We have other resources as well for that population. So each partnership that we have has its own process. The mandatory partners I discussed, that's a pretty elaborate process. That's something that's approved by our board of directors. It's approved by the organization. And then actually the Volusia County elected official and the Flagler County Commission elected official have to acknowledge those partnerships as well. So it can take us several months to get those programs in place, and their annual contracts. As far as the community locations or MCLs, that's a very easy process. It's literally like a 1.5 page little agreement. It's very simple. We keep it very simple by design. And then as far as other partnerships, some of those may be grants that we receive throughout the year, or just partnerships that make sense. So there's no way I could explain all the partnerships we have. There's too many. Some are contracted and some are just arrangements we have with local organizations. So as both Selena and Kristen shared, our website is full of information. It takes a bit to get through, but take your time with it. Most of what we discussed is on the website. Some of my agreements will not be on there, but at least most of the information is there. So please go to www.CareerSourceFV.com for more information. And again, I'm at 386-586-5175 if you have anything you want to talk to me specifically about. But I think I'm the last presenter. I think that's what we have, unless anybody has questions, or Carrie, you have anything else you want explained?
Thank you for presenting. Any other questions for Jenny, Selena, or Kristen? We will definitely share all this information. I know some of it's been placed in the chat, but Tracy will send it out after the meeting. So if you guys have any other information you'd like to share from CareerSource, just let us know, and we'll email everyone who is on our list to make sure they get that. Thank you guys so much for being part of our meeting today and sharing all of those great resources. I just have a couple other things to share, and then we'll open it up for announcements for anyone who'd like to share information. Just wanted to let you know that One Voice for Volusia is hosting a virtual town hall on opioid use disorder, sort of taking a prevention slant. We're going to talk about the relationship of prevention to trauma and science. We have an addictionologist, Dr. Fenley, who's with SMA Healthcare, who's going to be presenting some of the latest data that's really quite interesting, and we'll have a time for question and answer. We also wanted to take a minute too to ask for suggestions. So if you guys can find your chat box, and we're just going to take a couple minutes. If you have suggestions for topics that we can cover at upcoming meetings or speakers that you would really like to hear, please add that to the chat box. You can also email it to Tracy at OV as in Victor, F as in Frank, V as in Victor.org. And I see a message there too. You can also make sure you're on our email list there. If you logged into the meeting today with your email, we'll make sure to add you to our list, but you can also email Tracy to make sure. So we would appreciate your input on meeting topics or speakers. Are there any announcements that people would like to make? You should be able to unmute yourself.
Hey, Carrie, it's Joyce Case from the Health Planning Council. As always, I want to tell everybody it's open enrollment right now for the Affordable Care Act. And it's quite apropos that CareerSource is presenting today, because anybody who has received an unemployment check, at least one unemployment check in 2021, they will receive zero-based premiums, meaning their premium payments for health insurance will be free. So if you have anybody who's received that, it doesn't matter if they've only received one check, the marketplace will treat them as if they have 133% of poverty for the year, FPL for the year, regardless of the size of their family. So this would cover their entire family. So people between 100 and 150% of poverty qualify for zero-based premiums, meaning free health insurance, free. So have your folks give me a call if you have anybody who needs health insurance. This is going to be effective until August 15th. Anybody can enroll right now. It's open enrollment basically until August 15th. So if you have anybody who needs health insurance, they get enrolled in June. They will be having effective coverage July the 1st. If they enroll in July, they will have effective coverage August 1st. And as always, open enrollment for next year starts November 1st and it goes through December 15th. I will leave the information about my contact information in the chat, and that's all I got.
Thanks, Joyce. I think Billy Boone has a question. Can you unmute yourself, Billy?
Sorry, I was actually trying to call while I was listening. It's currently running on and you mentioned
Hey,
the
Billy.
Florida site. Yes.
We can't, you're really breaking up for some reason. Are you in a place where you can
Hold
text
on
us
a
the
second.
question? Nope, I'm not sure what happened there. Are there other announcements or information people would like to share?
Hi, my name is Erica Williams. I am with Devereaux Advanced Behavioral Health. I just dropped some information for our community-based services in the chat. If you have a need for services for victims of human trafficking, as well as intellectual and developmental disabilities with combination of mental health, you can reach out to us at flcounseling@devereaux.org.
Thank you.
Can you hear me better now?
Yes, let's try it again, Billy.
Okay, I'm sorry. I had headphones on. I was outside working on my car. Yes, I'll be brief. My wife is currently in unemployment and she went to the Florida site to look for jobs. And there was some confusion about like whether the star on there has to be a full yellow or just filled in. And then when she would apply for the job, afterwards, it said she had to unblock, and then sometimes it said it was suppress different jobs. So it was all very confusing. How could she help navigate that? Because I don't think there's any more walk-ins. We're near the enterprise campus of the CareerSource. So how can she get assistance with that? Because I don't think she could even call and get anybody on the phone anymore, or do I have that wrong?
You know what, just so I can help understand the question better, why don't you just have her contact me directly, either via email, or I can give a phone number if you'd like. And then I will kind of listen to what the exact issue is, and then we'll try to navigate her further from there. I will put my number right in the chat right now, and that's my direct cell phone.
Okay, so you have your name and number in the chat right now.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, well, thank you. And I apologize for the poor reception.
Thank you, Billy.
Thank you.
Any other announcements or questions people would like
Yes,
to share?
this is Faith with Mid-Florida Community Services Head Start Early Head Start. I just wanted to let everybody know that we are accepting applications for the coming school year for our Head Start services, and currently accepting applications for our Early Head Start services. So 0 to 3 is Early Head Start. 3 to 5 is our Head Start, and it is income based and other needs. So it's not first come, first serve. I've put our website in the chat. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, good morning, everyone. This is Kalila Escalera with U.S. Attorney's Office Community Outreach. I did drop a flyer in the chat box. We're having a fraud prevention awareness day. That's going to be on World Elder Abuse Awareness Day next week, June 15th at 2 p.m. It is a virtual event and there is no cost. So please feel free to see the flyer in the chat. The link to register is on the flyer, and we hope to see you there. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other announcements people would like to share? If you think of something in the next hour or so, again, you can send that to Tracy and she can share information out with everybody that we follow up with after the meeting. I just wanted to let you know that we're not going to be meeting in July. That's typically a lower participation meeting for us. People are taking vacations and things like that. But we are planning our coalition meetings for August through December. So please let us know if you have any suggestions for speakers or topics. And otherwise, we will see you back in August. Thank you all for joining today.